At 10 p.m. tonight, I walked into my house and found my babysitter's phone on the living room floor, still recording. The video was 47 minutes long. When I pressed play, I heard my daughter's voice say something that made my heart stop. "Mommy said you could come upstairs now. My name is Natalie Brooks. I'm 29 years old, and I work as a nurse at Mercy General Hospital here in Minneapolis. Being a nurse means long hours, rotating shifts, and missing out on things I wish I could be there for. But it pays the bills. And honestly, I love what I do. The hard part is being a single mom while doing it. My entire world revolves around my 6-year-old daughter, Iris. She's this bright, curious kid who loves drawing unicorns, asking a million questions about everything, and making up elaborate stories about magical kingdoms. She's my reason for everything. My younger brother, Finn, lives about 20 minutes away and helps when he can, but he works construction and keeps unpredictable hours. Most days, it's just me and Iris figuring life out together. Mornings are rushed, getting her ready for school, packing lunch, dropping her off before my shift starts. Evenings are homework, dinner, bath time, bedtime stories. It's exhausting, but it's our routine, and we've made it work. The biggest challenge has always been my night shifts. I work Thursday evenings from 6 p.m. to midnight, which means I need someone to watch Iris. For a while, I rotated between different babysitters I found through a popular babysitting app. Most of them were fine, responsible college students looking for extra money, showing up on time, and keeping Iris fed and safe. But fine isn't the same as great. Iris is a shy kid around new people, and most babysitters treated the job like exactly what it was, a job. They'd sit on their phones while Iris played alone in her room. That changed when I found Shayna Martinez about 6 weeks ago. She was 22, studying early childhood education at the University of Minnesota, and she actually wanted to spend time with kids. The first night she came over, Iris was hesitant like always, hiding behind my leg when I opened the door. But Shayna crouched down to Iris's level, smiled, and said, "I heard you like drawing. Can you show me your favorite picture?" Within 10 minutes, they were sitting on the living room floor together with crayons spread everywhere, and Iris was talking her ear off about unicorns and rainbows. I knew right then I'd found someone special. Shayna started watching Iris every Thursday night, and it became the one night of the week I didn't worry. She'd text me updates throughout the evening, pictures of the dinner they made together, videos of Iris showing off a new drawing, quick messages saying bedtime went smoothly. Iris started asking on Wednesday nights if Shayna was coming tomorrow. That kind of connection is rare, and I was grateful for it. This past Thursday started like all the others. I got home from my morning shift around 3 p.m., picked Iris up from school, and we spent the afternoon together. I made chicken nuggets and mac and cheese for their dinner, because it's Iris's favorite, and I knew Shayna wouldn't mind something simple. Around 5:30, I started getting ready for work. Scrubs on, hair pulled back, double-checking that I had everything in my bag. Shayna arrived at 5:45, right on time like always. She had her backpack with textbooks inside because she usually studied after Iris went to bed. Iris ran to the door the second she heard the knock. "Shayna, can we draw tonight? I want to make a picture for Mommy." Shayna laughed and gave her a high five. "Absolutely. We'll make the best drawing ever." I went over the usual routine with Shayna. Dinner was in the fridge, just needed to be heated up. Bedtime was 8:30. Extra blankets were in the hallway closet if Iris got cold. Emergency numbers were on the fridge even though Shayna had them saved in her phone. I kissed Iris on the forehead. "Be good for Shayna, okay? No staying up past bedtime." Iris wrapped her arms around my waist. "I promise, Mommy. Love you. Love you too, baby." I grabbed my keys and headed out the door, feeling that usual mix of guilt and relief. Guilt for leaving, relief that Iris was in good hands. If you're a parent, hit that subscribe button because you know exactly what I'm talking about. And drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I love hearing from you all. My shift that night was busier than usual. 3 new patient admissions, 2 discharges, and a medical emergency that had me running between rooms until almost 9 p.m. I finally got a break around 9:15 and checked my phone. One text from Shayna, sent at 8:52 p.m. My stomach dropped the second I read it. Is someone else supposed to be here? I stared at that text message for a few seconds before my brain fully processed what it said. Is someone else supposed to be here? What did that mean? Nobody else should be at my house. It was supposed to be just Shayna and Iris. My fingers moved fast, typing back immediately. No, why? What's going on? I hit send and watched the screen, waiting for those 3 dots to appear showing she was typing back. Nothing. 20 seconds passed. 30 seconds. A full minute. My heart started beating faster. I sent another message. Shayna, is everything okay? Is Iris safe? Still nothing. Then, at 9:18, another text came through from her. Just 6 words that made my chest tighten with fear. Never mind. You'll understand when you get home. That was it. No explanation, no context. Nothing that told me if my daughter was safe or if something terrible was happening. I called her immediately. The phone rang 4 times and went to voicemail. I tried again. This time, it went straight to voicemail without ringing at all, like she'd declined the call or turned her phone off. I texted again, my hands shaking so badly I had to retype the message twice. Shayna, you're scaring me. Please answer. Is Iris okay? What's happening? I watched my phone screen like it was the most important thing in the world. 1 minute passed. 2 minutes. No response. No callback. Nothing. Every terrible possibility flooded my mind at once. Someone broke into my house. Iris was hurt. There was a fire, a medical emergency. Something horrible was happening, and I was stuck at the hospital 20 minutes away. I couldn't breathe right. My hands felt cold. That text kept replaying in my head. Is someone else supposed to be here? Who would be at my house? I didn't give anyone else a key except my brother Finn, and he would never just show up without calling first. I found my charge nurse Linda at the nurse's station. I have a family emergency. I need to leave right now. She looked at my face and didn't ask questions. Go. We'll cover your patients. I grabbed my bag from my locker and ran to the parking garage. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped my keys twice trying to unlock my car. The drive home felt like it took hours, even though I knew it was only about 20 minutes. I kept trying to call Shayna. Every single call went straight to voicemail. I left messages. Shayna, please pick up. I'm on my way home. Please just tell me Iris is okay. Nothing. No response. I ran 2 red lights. I didn't care. All I could think about was Iris. Was she scared? Was she hurt? Why wasn't Shayna answering? The logical part of my brain tried to calm me down. Maybe it was something simple. Maybe a neighbor knocked on the door asking to borrow something. Maybe Shayna overreacted. But the text said, "You'll understand when you get home." And that didn't sound simple. That sounded like something was seriously wrong and she couldn't or wouldn't explain it over the phone. I pulled onto my street, going way too fast, and slammed on the brakes in front of my house. It was 10:03 p.m. The porch light was on, which was normal. Through the front window, I could see the living room lamp glowing softly. Everything looked completely normal from the outside. No broken windows, no police cars, no ambulance. The house looked exactly like I'd left it 4 hours ago, but my heart was still racing because something was wrong. I could feel it. I got out of the car and ran to the front door, fumbling with my keys. My hands were shaking so badly it took 3 tries to get the key in the lock. I pushed the door open hard. Shayna? Iris? My voice came out louder than I meant it to, almost a shout. Silence. Complete silence. No TV sounds, no voices. Nothing. I stepped inside and looked around the living room. Iris's coloring books were spread across the coffee table with crayons scattered everywhere. 2 glasses of water sat on coasters on the side table. The TV was off. Everything looked normal except for one thing. Shayna wasn't there. The couch where she always sat was empty. I stood in my living room feeling like I was in a nightmare. Everything looked normal, but felt completely wrong. Where was Shayna? Where was my daughter? I took a few steps further into the house, my eyes scanning every corner. That's when I saw it on the floor near the bottom of the staircase. Shayna's phone. It was lying face up on the hardwood floor, and the screen was still lit up. I walked over and picked it up with trembling hands. The camera app was open and actively recording. The timer at the top of the screen read 47 minutes and 33 seconds. My stomach dropped. Why would her phone be recording for almost an hour? Why was it on the floor? I looked up the staircase toward the second floor where the bedrooms were. Every light upstairs was off. The hallway was dark. "Shayna," I called out again, louder this time. Nothing. Just silence. I ran up the stairs 2 at a time, still holding her phone. The first door I reached was Iris's bedroom. It was closed. I never left it closed. I always kept it cracked open at night. I grabbed the handle and threw the door open, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Iris was there, in her bed, asleep. Her unicorn nightlight was glowing purple in the corner, casting soft shadows across her peaceful face. She was lying on her side, hugging her stuffed elephant, breathing slow and steady. She looked completely fine, not scared, not hurt, just sleeping like it was any other normal night. I walked over to her bed and put my hand gently on her forehead, checking for fever, normal temperature. I checked her arms and legs for any signs of injury. Nothing. She was perfectly okay. Relief flooded through me so intensely I almost started crying right there. But the relief only lasted a second, before the fear came back even stronger. If Iris was fine, where was Shayna? I checked my bedroom. Empty. I turned on the light and looked around. My bed was made exactly how I'd left it that morning. Nothing looked disturbed. I checked the closet. Just my clothes hanging there and shoes on the floor. I went to the bathroom. Empty. The spare bedroom that I used for storage. Empty. I checked every single room upstairs. No Shayna. No sign of where she went or what happened. I ran back downstairs and checked the kitchen. Her purse was still sitting on the counter where she always put it. Her jacket was hanging on the coat rack by the front door. Her car keys were in the little ceramic bowl on the entry table. Everything she'd come with was still in my house except Shayna herself. I stood in my living room holding her phone, trying to make sense of what was happening. The phone was still recording. I looked down at the screen and noticed the red recording button. My thumb hovered over it for a second before I pressed stop. The recording ended and the video file saved automatically. I opened the camera roll and there it was. A video file that was 47 minutes and 51 seconds long, time-stamped from tonight at 8:16 p.m. My hands were shaking as I pressed play. The video started with a view of my living room from Shayna's perspective. She must have propped the phone up on the coffee table because the angle showed the couch, the TV, and part of the staircase in the background. I could hear Iris's voice off camera, giggling about something. Then Shayna's voice. "Okay, Iris, show me what you drew." Iris ran into the frame, holding up a piece of construction paper covered in crayon drawings, stick figures in different colors. "It's you and me and Mommy and the lady upstairs," Iris said proudly, pointing at each figure. Shayna laughed. "What lady upstairs?" Iris looked at her like it was the most obvious thing in the world. "The lady in Mommy's closet. She comes out at night and watches me sleep sometimes. She's really nice, though. She told me not to tell Mommy because it's our secret." The smile completely disappeared from Shayna's face. She leaned forward, and I could hear the concern in her voice. "Iris, honey, is someone actually upstairs right now?" Iris nodded cheerfully. "Yeah, she's always there." I watched the screen as Shayna stood up slowly from the couch, her eyes moving toward the staircase. She reached forward and picked up the phone. The camera angle shifted as she held it in her hand, still recording. I could hear her breathing getting faster and heavier. I kept watching the video, my entire body tense. On the screen, Shayna's voice came through quiet but shaky. "Iris, I need you to stay right here and keep coloring, okay? Don't move from this spot. I'm just going to check on something upstairs real quick." Iris's voice responded cheerfully, completely unaware that anything was wrong. "Okay. Can you tell the lady I said hi?" The camera view started moving as Shayna walked toward the staircase. I could see her hand gripping the railing. Her breathing was loud and uneven, almost panicked. She climbed the stairs slowly, and every step creaked in that familiar way my old staircase always does. When she reached the top, she paused for a second in the dark hallway. Then she walked toward my bedroom. The camera showed my bedroom door standing open. Shayna stepped inside, and the view swept across the room. My bed, The dresser with picture frames on top, the window with curtains drawn. Everything looked exactly normal. Then the camera moved toward my closet. The door was closed. Shayna's hand reached out, and I watched her fingers wrap around the handle. She pulled the door open. At first, the camera just showed my clothes hanging there. My work scrubs, a few dresses, winter coats pushed to the back, shoes lined up on the floor, storage boxes stacked on the shelf above. It looked like a completely normal closet. But then there was movement. Behind the winter coats in the back corner, something shifted. The camera jerked wildly as Shayna stumbled backward, and I heard her gasp. A voice came from inside the closet. A woman's voice, calm and steady. "I'm not here to hurt anyone." Shayna's breathing turned into short, panicked gasps. "Who are you? How did you get in here?" The voice responded, still, eerily calm. "I live here. I've always lived here." The camera was shaking badly now as Shayna backed out of my bedroom. I could hear her footsteps running down the hallway. She checked on Iris first. The camera showed Iris still sitting on the living room floor, coloring peacefully, completely unaware. Shayna's voice was trying so hard to sound normal. "Everything's fine, sweetie. Keep drawing. You're doing great." But I could hear how scared she was. The timestamp on the video showed 8:50 p.m. That was 2 minutes before she sent me that first text. The video kept recording from the coffee table, where she must have set the phone down. Shayna was pacing back and forth in frame, her phone pressed to her ear, trying to call someone, probably trying to call me. I watched myself miss her calls because I was busy with patients. At the 31-minute mark, I heard something that made my blood run cold. Footsteps on the stairs. Slow, deliberate footsteps coming down from the second floor. A woman appeared at the bottom of the staircase. She looked around my age, maybe early 30s, with dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. She was wearing clothes that looked old and outdated, like something from the 1990s. A long floral dress with a cardigan over it. She looked directly at Shayna, and her expression was completely blank. Not angry, not threatening, just empty. "You need to leave now," she said in that same calm voice. "Before she gets home. This is between me and Natalie." Shayna grabbed the phone off the coffee table, and the video went shaky again as she moved. Then the screen went black. The video ended at exactly 47 minutes and 51 seconds. I stood in my living room holding that phone, my mind racing to process what I'd just seen. There had been someone in my house, a stranger, hiding in my closet, watching my daughter. And she knew my name. She said this was between her and me. What did that mean? Where was Shayna now? Did that woman hurt her? Did she force her to leave? I looked around my living room again, suddenly terrified that this woman was still here somewhere, hiding, watching me right now. I ran back upstairs and checked my closet again, throwing the door open and pushing all my clothes aside. Empty. Nothing there except my things. I checked under my bed, behind furniture, in the bathroom. Nothing. No one. I pulled out my own phone with shaking hands and dialed 911. The operator answered immediately. 911, what's your emergency? My voice came out broken and scared. Someone was in my house. There's a video. My babysitter is missing. My daughter is here, but the babysitter is gone, and there was someone hiding in my closet. Please send someone right now. The operator stayed calm and asked for my address. Officers are on the way. Are you safe right now? Is anyone in the house with you? I looked up the stairs toward Iris's room. Just my daughter. She's asleep. I don't know where the other woman went. The police arrived in less than 10 minutes. 2 officers, a tall man named Officer Brennan and a woman named Officer Kim. I met them at the door and immediately showed them the video on Shayna's phone. Officer Kim's face went from skeptical to deadly serious as she watched. They searched my entire house from top to bottom, every closet, every room, under beds, in the basement, even the small attic crawl space. They found nothing, no one hiding, no signs of forced entry, no broken windows or damaged locks. Everything looked completely secure. Officer Brennan asked if anyone else had keys to my house. Just my brother Finn, and I knew he wasn't involved in this. Officer Kim took down all of Shayna's information from the babysitting app, her full name, phone number, address, everything I had. They said they'd send officers to her apartment to do a welfare check. That's when I heard small footsteps on the stairs. Iris came down, rubbing her eyes, her stuffed elephant dragging behind her. "Mommy, why are there police here? Where's Shayna?" I picked her up even though she was getting heavy for me to carry. "Everything's okay, baby. The police are just checking on something. Did you have fun with Shayna tonight?" Iris nodded sleepily against my shoulder. "Yeah, we made popcorn and drew lots of pictures, and the lady came downstairs like she always does." Officer Kim stepped closer, her voice gentle. "Iris, sweetheart, can you tell me about this lady?" Iris lifted her head and looked at the officer with those big, innocent eyes. "The lady who lives in Mommy's closet. She's been there forever. She comes out at night sometimes and sits in the hallway outside my room. She watches me, but she's nice. She told me her name is Anna, and she used to live here a long time ago before me, and Mommy moved in. She says she's waiting for something important, but she won't tell me what it is." My heart sank. This wasn't a one-time thing. This woman had been in my house multiple times, watching my daughter sleep, talking to her, and Iris thought it was normal because she was 6 years old and didn't know any better. Officer Kim looked at me with concern. "How long have you lived here?" I felt sick. 3 years. We moved in right after Iris turned 3. Officer Brennan came back inside from checking the perimeter. "Found something you need to see outside." We followed him through the kitchen to the backyard. He pointed his flashlight at the small basement window on the side of the house. The latch was broken, forced open from the inside like someone had been using it to come and go. We went down into the basement, and my stomach twisted when I saw what was behind my old furnace. A sleeping bag, empty food wrappers, granola bar boxes, a backpack with clothes inside. Officer Brennan carefully opened the backpack wearing gloves. Inside, he found a wallet. He pulled out the driver's license and read it out loud. "Anna Lee Hoffman, age 31. The address on the license was my address. This house." Officer Kim made several phone calls while I stood there, trying not to completely fall apart. Within an hour, she had information that explained everything and somehow made it even worse. Anna Lee Hoffman had lived in my house 12 years ago with her parents. When she was 19, she'd had a severe mental health crisis, and her parents had her involuntarily committed to a long-term psychiatric facility. She'd been released 8 months ago. Apparently, she'd been coming back to this house, the only home she remembered, and living in the spaces I didn't use, the basement, the attic, even my closet. She'd been here for months, hiding while Iris and I slept, and I had no idea. The police explained that the video recording showed her revealing herself because she saw Shayna as a threat, someone who didn't belong in what Anna still believed was her house. They found Shayna 2 hours later at a 24-hour laundromat about 3 blocks away. She was physically fine, but terrified. Anna had told her to leave and never come back, and Shayna had run out of the house so fast she left everything behind. I didn't blame her one bit. Anna was located 3 days later at a homeless shelter downtown. She was arrested, but ended up in a psychiatric facility for treatment rather than jail. The detective told me Anna had never intended to harm anyone. In her mind, she was just visiting her childhood home. But that didn't change the fact that a stranger had been living in my walls, watching my daughter, and I'd been completely clueless. I moved out within 2 weeks. I couldn't stay in that house. Every shadow felt threatening. Every sound made me jump. Iris started therapy to help her understand that Anna wasn't imaginary and that what happened wasn't normal or safe. Now we live in a 4th-floor apartment with security cameras and multiple locks. Iris adjusted faster than I did, but I still check every closet and corner obsessively before bed. I learned that when your child tells you something that sounds impossible, you listen, you investigate, you don't dismiss it as imagination. Because sometimes the things we convince ourselves aren't real turn out to be the most dangerous. If this story gave you chills, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And if you've ever ignored a gut feeling, you wish you hadn't.